Okay. Hello. If you're new to programming and Codio and you need help running your code inside Codio, this video is for you. First, I'll explain and demonstrate how to code and test within Codio. Then I'll guide you through the process, how to think to solve a programming problem. The example that I'm going to use is one of your exercises from Lab1, where I received a lot of questions related to the swapping. For the swapping part, why we need to do swapping, which is exercise 6. There's a lot of reasons. One of the main one, optimizing the memory. In some situation, you might want to optimize memory by reusing the same variable. Also, this is what I consider the main important reason, which is we're trying to teach you the algorithmic thinking. In another word, they call it computational thinking. Algorithm thinking is a very important skill for programming, where you can use this skill to develop a very efficient software solution. Okay, so first of all, let's explain and show how you're going to create a file and test your file in Codio. So first, you can create testing file where I'm going to name it my name, safia.py. It has to be .py. And then after clicking yes, you will find your file to be here, where it will expect you to add a Python code inside. I have a code where I'm going to use it for our example. And then to test this code without using the check button, you can go to Tools, Terminal, and then you can notice here that the path is in the workplace, but our code is inside a folder called Python. So we need to change directory into Python. Now we are inside this folder. It's like when you click using the mouse, when you go to a folder and you double click and you go inside. This is the same thing, but using the command. And now I want to run my code, which is inside safia.py. So you need to write Python 3. This is because this is the version we're using, space, and then your file name, .py, and this is the output. Of course, you're not going to receive an output if your code doesn't have a print statement. So don't expect to run a code and get an output if your code doesn't specifically mention that we need to print something. Okay. And now let's go to the second part, which is understand the coding. So I'm going to take this question into some tools that's going to make you visualize the code and see what's happening in the memory. So for now, if we visualize this question, we have A in the memory will have 3, and then B will have 1, and then C will have 2, and then this is going to be printed outside. What we want to need, or we want to do, is we want to have A to have 1, B to have 2, C to have 3. So first, we need to think. What would be a good first step? As I explained before, A, we want A to have 1. Okay, which variable here has 1? It's the B. So in another word, we want A to be a B. Okay, and now for the second one. We want B to be 2. So where's the 2? The 2, it's within the C. So we want B equals C. For the third one, we want C to be equal 3. So we want C to be A. Okay. If I just wrote those down directly, which is A equal B, B equals C, C equal A, let's see what's going to happen. So we started with A equal 3, B equal 2 and C. Okay, and now let's start with our code. So now A were changed to be 1. But what's happened to the value of A? It's not here anymore. So, and then B equal 2, C equal 1. So now, if we directly do that, we no longer have the values. So what we need to do, we need to create a temporary location or a temporary variables to save the value so we can reuse it. So I'm going to call it temp. You can call it whatever you want. Okay, I can call it sef. It doesn't really have to be temp. And I will save one of those values here. So what would be a good value to store it in my temporary? Well, we want to store our first variable in this case. So I will put temp, which is I called safe here with has an A. And then let's check out the output. If I start creating a temporary file, what would happen? The output not gonna change, but we're gonna have another variables that's gonna store the A value, which is 3 in the memory. Okay, so let's go back now. We want A to be B. Okay, let's visualize that. So we have A equal 1, but this time B equal 1 and C equal 2, and the temp equal 3. So when we go through them, we can see that we do have 1 and 2 and 3. That's mean we're good. We didn't lose any of our variables. So we're going to take now number 2 and assign it to B. We're saving the A into B. We're going to assign B to C. Okay, let's visualize that. Okay, now we have 1, 2, 2, 3. Okay, we're good. And now we're done from A, we're done from B, and now for C. C will have temp value, which is I named it 7. Okay, let's visualize that. Okay, so first we have our variables, which is had 3, 1, 2, 1, and then we change the value. We created a temp, and then the temp we have 3. We change the value here, and then we change the value here. We change the value here, and then we have 1, 2, 3. I hope this can help.